bing, bing. We're live at San Michael. Yeah, I guess website 1 has staff. I have so far managed to continue my what is this, summer resolution to blog every day by blogging for the 2nd day in a row. I try to write up like the whole login, sign up, what have you. So I don't know. Not that that's obviously you enjoyed the entire process, in person. But if there are any inaccuracies in my description, your input very much appreciated. I'm also trying to make a plan for the week. I'm kind of trying to make a decision about whether to see Charles on Monday this week, or whether to have a local support client meeting. I'm sort of thinking that right now we would focus on website 1. It feels like there's a number of issues that might be relatively minor that we can get fixed. And if we can make progress with that, then maybe we could switch to the static site tomorrow. Or something. What's the word? Oh yeah, I've also, as you may have noticed, Raul has pushed out the few changes. So now the premium thing is kind of linked in here. And I followed that up. I sent out, I've got like kind of a mailing list that was built off the Agile Ventures membership a year ago, who I previously kind of sent out to a professional development review questionnaire. And I've now followed that up saying, yeah, so like we've got these, based on your input, we've got these professional development plans. And I guess we now see if we can fight off the hordes of zombies trying to sign up for the, I guess the interesting thing now will be to see, how many, if any, people more will sign up. So that's live. I guess that just makes me think: is the fix to the is now? Let's see, getting started. Yes, and in fact, the fixes to the welcome email are out. Thank God. Goodness me, what a step forward. So yeah, the pull, in terms of pull requests, the board is looking a lot cleaner, I think. I merged some things, so that's what we were working on yesterday. Is there? Right, and in fact, I'm gonna close this because it's confusing. The time zone fixes are in. I'll just say I'm to close this for the moment, as I've confused myself a couple of times thinking that our own PR is still open. Okay. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Do you? Is the rest of your week? Do you have any particular off on Thursday or anything that would affect my planning of the week?
Maybe off on Friday.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
That's usually an unproductive day anyway.
Sure. Yes. Yes, indeed. So I guess just looking through the board here, I've got what I'm going to try and do on Friday morning is sort out the development documentation, the documentation issues that I've got there. So we've got the issues here. So we've got, let's just have a quick look through them. So we've got this one thing is hiding the starter hangout on air.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give myself a list over here. It's like 1, hiding start hangout on air. So I think that's an issue. There's this Jira waffle links, whatever. Okay, whatever. Failure when trying to save it. That's a indicated event is live. Okay, so then there is separately too. There is the timing. When the live element is displayed there's also a question of where it's displayed. When event edit fails due to, okay, so that's a wrong day for local time zone. In special cases, this is, then we've got an issue there about the day on the event show page is not adjusted for time zone. Wrong day for local time zone, special cases. And then we've got this one here. 6 4 got some, yeah, so we've got can we have new events should default to CS169 projects, and that's 1109. We've got ticket numbers for all these. 0, and then indicate if event is live when event is actually still in progress. 1073. Then we had a report that came in that's related to the login, which is about somebody changing their GitHub username but being unable to disconnect and reconnect. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Potentially local time zone display on upcoming events. What's that one? Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Is it a repeat of 1.6, and is that mentioned in there? It is. Okay, and then there was a, not sure. Well, and that, right, so that's, okay. Right, and so actually now, have we got, for the individual events, is it now showing? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, so we've got that thing. Why would it display that twice? Well, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see this bug here?
Tuesday.
It says Europe, London twice.
Yeah.
Presumably that might be because the JavaScript is running twice.
I don't know offhand.
No. Well, let's
Is that only on that one?
let's have a look. No, it seems to be on all of them. That's weird. I wonder if when I merged it, we ended up with something doubling up. Anyway, so issues, new issue. What is this? This is now moment location on show event page is doubling up. Rats. News. Okay. Okay. And then we've got a news 1131 5. I've got location display bug. So I feel like we've got, there's a set of things here. And there's, I guess we've got, so on the event show page, we've got this bug that we've just seen there. We've got this one that's being reported by several users, which is about the day on the event page not being adjusted correctly. I guess we've got this issue about the new events, like things are being a bit messy because people are creating projects and it's not going to the right areas. And then I guess we've got, I don't know if I just call it event live related things. So we've got these two issues here. Nice. I mean, I kind of almost want to spend time linking these into different epics and things. But maybe is the sensible thing to just, I guess for me, the choices between, do we get in here and fix this? You know, this looks messy. This looks, this has been, you know, users are reporting this. No one has actually complained about these event live things, but it's kind of, you know, the Slack environment is messy as a result of these things. Shall we start here?
Okay.
Do you want to? I was driving a lot yesterday. Do you want to update to develop, and we'll get working on these?
All right.
I think I pulled develop.
What was that one called?
The location display bug that we just saw is 1131.
So we're going to work on 116. Start or not?
Well, I would be tempted to work on 1131 first.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm hoping that's like really, really simple and we can just get it done.
Okay. So I'm going to run the sheets in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's JavaScript. Oh. Right, select time zone, update date.
That's interesting. I think
I'm not remembering right off the.
Yeah, I think like the thing is, it's now in events.js. I'm thinking that select time zone and update date and time.js is kind of actually should have been deleted. And I wonder if that's what's causing the problem. well, it's probably not causing the problem because it doesn't look like it appends the thing.
There's a show event.
Yeah, that's the thing that should add it to the.
Where is that defined at?
Well, it's JavaScript events, and then we've got the
yeah.
No, the events, the folder.
Oh, you put a whole folder in now.
Right, because we've got now our different domain. I mean, we could just start with writing a test for it.
I mean, I guess we can write a test, but it's kind of, I don't know. It always seems kind of ridiculous to write acceptance tests that are like, oh,
You should not see.
and it does not have twice as many times.
It does, although
As a bug at some point.
right. Although to the extent that it's a bug that we've seen on the main site. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to run the testing tests. Did you created a branch? Did you?
Yes. I didn't push it yet, and it's
No, sure. Yeah, just
stuck. Oh, now it's gone.
yeah. I'm just going to see if I get the same behavior on my local system. It's kind of funny because I would have thought we would have seen that if it was there. It makes me think that something about the process of doing the merge may have caused the problem. Yeah, so I'm getting it locally as well. And I'm surprised to see this select time zone update date and time thing, because that was what we replaced that with events.js.
Uh-huh.
So we've got some like old code hanging around in here.
Why is it this? So why doesn't it fail?
Why doesn't the cucumber test fail?
Yeah, I thought usually it failed with like ambiguous, because it doesn't when you tell it to match.
Oh, right. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I just kind of like commented out the, that line 4 there, and it didn't display anything, which is kind of weird. Yeah, like if it detected it twice, ambiguous match.
It didn't display anything. What do you mean it didn't display anything?
But both of the Europe London things were removed.
Yeah.
So that makes it seem like the show event thing is somehow being run twice. I wonder if this is, we've got, oh, I think I know what it is. It's probably that we've got require tree, and separately we've got require events.
So
It's probably what it is.
So should I get rid of require tree?
Well, I think we kind of need require tree.
How about get rid of require events?
Maybe.
No. Yes.
Yeah, well, might as well try it. I would just say maybe, and like, maybe it will work or not. I would just remove the whole line.
It's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Come on, no. I don't know. Do you have to like restart the server, maybe?
I don't know. What are you there? You're getting no, it's twice there. We've got require tree. Ah.
Yeah, that's not it.
No, that's weird. Okay.
Go on there with the debugger and see. Obviously,
Yeah, good call.
it's being called once.
So before you move it on.
It's being called twice.
All right. Right. So why is it being called twice?
Complete it.
Yeah, I was just thinking adjust the size so that we could actually see the change in the interface as it. But I guess it's not updating. Oh well, don't worry.
And it's called again.
Oh, okay. So the other thing, right? The other thing we've got, right, is that the events.js is being. We've got that being explicitly required in some of the views.
Oh.
So like the events show page at the very bottom, we've got JavaScript include tag events.js. So I guess if we remove that, yeah, that's it. Is that it?
Yeah, that fixes it.
Yeah.
So if we write an acceptance test, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's, you're right. You're right that it's stupid, but yeah, given that it's occurred on production and we don't want it to occur in production again. So what is it? This is I guess it's the events folder, and then it's like the show events.
So where was this one at?
I think it's probably at the top, isn't it?
Oh, right.
That's the one there.
So, I mean, how would we actually check this? This is kind of...
No, indeed, it does seem, particularly with that scenario outline. I guess there is. I wonder if there's a way to just say that it, that it occurs only once. Is there? So at the moment we've got this is like capybara has text only once or something. Here we go. We can have a count. There's a. We could just adjust the existing test, existing step definition, so that it has count 1.
Okay, I guess. This is like a generic step, though.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to change that, or
Well, let's see. I mean, if it causes 15 other things to fail, then no. But it's
uh,
found 9 times. Yeah. So clearly, changing the generic step is not an option. And I guess actually it was appearing drop downs and other things and so on. So you could take a clone of the generic step and make it so that it has a version of it that I should not see, and then only once on the end. I mean, or it could even be a further parameter to the existing one if you like that style.
wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
That passed.
Yep. So we should
not
just. Do you wanna uncomment the thing in the show thing and just check that it fails in the right way?
Please uncomment it.
So that fails to catch the error.
Yes.
Interesting.
It must be that it must be a timing issue.
Right. Okay. Well, I would say it's probably not worth burning more effort on now.
Uh,
In as much as we've at least expressed the intent. And yeah, I mean, I guess the problem with it, the capybara will basically pause and check that it's on. But as soon as that first thing appears,
it finds it.
yeah, and it's not. There's no guarantee that it's going to wait for all of the JavaScript to finish executing.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
It's not worth putting that stuff up.
well, I think, well,
I don't think it's worth putting a step in that lies about what it does.
no, that's true. Well, I mean, it's kind of, although the problem is the intention is there, but the problem is that it's the capybara implementation of it. I mean, if there was a way for capybara to actually hold and wait for all of the JavaScript in the page to finish executing, but I think that's not practical. Anyway, yeah. So let's just.
So get rid of this.
Get rid of that. I think also note that we've got like we've got a hanging JavaScript file that we shouldn't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go at assets, and I think this is an artifact of the merge. If you look in the JavaScripts, that select time zone and update time.js, that just shouldn't be there, because that was renamed to event.js as part of the refactoring. So just check it's not still in the Jasmines as well. Yeah, it's not in the Jasmines. So if I were you there, I might run the Jasmine things first and check that they all pass.
Uh,
Oh, well, don't worry. If you've started the Cucumber, don't worry. I guess you could run the Jasmine in a separate window, couldn't you? So, on the other tab.
they passed.
Cool. Well, you might as well push the branch up in the background. But so, do you have in the application.js? Do you still have both the require events.js and the require tree?
Yes.
You just want to check in the run it. Well, push it up. Go ahead, pushing it up.
There.
What was the? This was 1131. Okay, so I now have that one time. Okay. Okay, so requiring events and requiring tree doesn't. Right. And the rest of the cucumbers are passed for you there, are they? Look at a pull request in there. Okay, pull requests. So I guess that's that. I mean, there's a series of things with the show page. Another one which is like displaying other info, e.g. user, etc. And I guess we have the thing now is, having fixed this bug, should we now do this fix from develop or do this fix on top of this one? And I'm kind of thinking if this has only one commit, when it gets squashed, it will still just retain that single commit, and so we won't get lots of merged things. I guess maybe it's worth a try to test that hypothesis, to build this one on top of this one. Maybe, yeah. So let's go for the let's get this time zone. See if we can get this time zone one fixed, and then maybe come back to the strategy of what order we're doing things in. So we've kind of seen this issue we'd anticipated this issue before people had actually reported it, and it's basically that at the moment we've got the local time. We've got this, like, we're showing the local time range here, and this one is getting the next occurrence with time, and it's formatting it into a date object completely independently of anything. So it's basically showing the day for the UTC thing. And I guess what we should have is a test that wraps it, really, shouldn't we? Although my mind starts to think about, one, we've got this local time operation here, which is from the gem. And I wonder if the local time gem as like an equivalent. There's local time gem, if they have like a local date. Oh, wrong thing. Associated with it.
How would it? Wow.
Ah, they do.
Says it's an alias for local time.
With a month formatted default.
Huh.
But so yeah, I guess we might want to remove the local time gem. Although, okay, so anyway, but we should, let's go here. So this is, you're still thinking about that. All right. Tests, assets, models, views, features. So we had created various, but these were all about editing events, weren't they?
Uh-huh.
So we were doing, there was a sort of one where we tried to handle this, right? These end up being sort of generic. Now, which is the one? No, actually, sort of, so this one, the date would actually change. We were looking, this was like a 7 a.m. event, and it's like 10 hours previously or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's completely kind of wrong. But so this is then in the show event page, where we've got lots and lots of things that are all very, very imperative. This is our new time zone one. And I'm on the show page for event stand-up. I guess that should be removed. So user is in user in time zone on different day should see that should see date. So we've kind of got these events, particular times, and the mechanism that we use to see, that was just setting the zone. But so now these things are not operating, and we can't control the capybara thing. So the mechanism that we have in the show phase to check that it sees the right, we basically have the local time element should be set a certain way.
Right, but
the user is in the zone.
But we can't really choose a time zone.
Well, no, I mean the choosing the time zone is not gonna affect to the extent that we're still working with local time or local date elements, then none of that's going to have any impact.
Yes.
But I mean, in fact, I mean, this is checking there. We've got show correct time zone and user location. So this is actually checking also show correct time and date. I mean, it's where was that? The local time elements. Yeah. So it's interesting that that's looking for the CSS time, date time equals. It's interesting because this is having like local underscore. Oh, right. And the DOM loads it this and it's time. Okay, but so local date. I guess would still end up having like the time thing there, and it would just be another. We'd have a situation where there's like two. We're checking that it has date time equals date time. I guess if I turn JavaScript off in like this page, Chrome preferences, JavaScript. Okay, I'm supposed to do that on a page-by-page basis. So here, so if we load this page, we just end up with those two times there. Let's have a look. Let's inspect. So, right, so we get these two times. That's the start and the finish. Corresponding there to the local time. And then we have small, we just have the time, the normal, that's UTC. And then we have the month thing there. Right, and so I guess what it would correspond to, I guess what we...
The local day.
Right. I mean, I'm just thinking...
So, I mean, in this interface, there's that... Don't we show UTC ends local time?
We do, but so this with the JavaScript switched off.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
So there's an issue with the interface too.
Okay, go on.
In that there's only one date.
There's only one date.
Yes, that's an issue with the interface.
Because
you're showing two different times. The local time and the UTC time, and those could be different dates.
Yes. Yes. That is true.
But I guess how is that date being loaded right now?
This one?
Yes.
That's just being
just being printed.
It's just being printed. It's not. There's no JavaScript involved in its creation.
So there is a functionality in the gem for that.
Yeah, in principle.
So basically, we would just be testing that is loaded into the DOM.
Yeah, I mean that was the sort of workaround that we did for the fact that we couldn't control the capybara the time zone that it would be interpreted as correctly. I mean, I'm just sort of hacking up a version of this to have something as an approach, in as much as if we would check the local date element, local time element, and then no, that's not what I want. If we look at the show page, the format that we actually get for the edit event details, here it is. Right, so this is the format we've been using for the date. So from my reading of the docs there, it's having something with this format that would do that for us. So in principle, that would now fail. Looks like a convert features events show event feature 17. This should fail because there shouldn't be a local time element or a time tag that with the appropriate date settings. The browser raised a syntax error. Okay. What's the syntax for CSS selectors? CSS selector multiple attributes. There's like, I think we just have to say and or something. Multiple attribute values. Oh, this really? Star equals? I thought we. CSS selectors, multiple attributes. Attribute selectors. Oh, looks like you. Okay, looks like they're being separate. Okay. So we need that. I haven't seen that syntax before.
This had to fix on the index page too.
Yes.
Same issue on the index page, I imagine.
I imagine so. I guess. I mean, it's sort. I mean, the interesting thing to think about. I mean, the bigger perspective is. You know, for all of these things, which are the ones that will be most, you know, which are the load-bearing elements? Is it a smooth pairing experience in Agile Ventures that's going to lead to people's trust in the system to say, yeah, I want to sign up for a Premium Plus, or, you know, is it something else? So that's failing in the way that we anticipate, I believe. And so, in principle, that could be fixed now, almost with just, we have local time there, and we pass in the local time. We need a time instance. We've got a time in there, and then instead of striff time there, we just do that. So look at that in the. What does that do? I've turned off all JavaScript. That's looks similar to before. if we turn the JavaScript back on again, recommended. I am definitely intrigued reading more.
I noticed Ozra's, the guy that runs Ozra's project, is asking for people to help.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
But nobody
immediately replied. It's ironic because there've been like maybe 2 or 3 people who've like popped into Ozra and said, "Hey,
yeah,
I'll re-include it in my list of things." So I think it's conceivable that may be a quick fix to the problem there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is like a back end. Ozra's like a office thing.
Yeah, it's like a back-end office thing, yeah. Okay. But so the test is not passing. I guess I want to look at it again without the JavaScript.
Oh.
And if we inspect it there, actually from the thing, this is the thing we're interested in. So without JavaScript, okay. Okay, so we've got datetime equals so-and-so, data format. I copy outer HTML.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that sort of looks like what it should do. I mean, I guess what I should check is that even if there's even this that's what that one looks like. And then that's what this one looks like. Copy out of HTML. And does that, because this is, so I've just emasculated the checking for the local data elements. Maybe this, while the syntax is correct somewhere, it's not what Capybara is using. Bleh. Right. So that looks like it's there failing. The local time element there is failing. I felt sure we had done this before with like this.
Uh-huh. I feel like there's have CSS multiple attributes. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically trying to find an HTML element that has these multiple attributes. And I seem to remember way back when with
I think you use at, right?
the at symbol.
Maybe and.
Probably
wrong though.
I thought in local support, long time ago, you and I did some kind of.
Or you can use multiple. Here's a Stack Overflow.
Yeah. Oh, it was XPath we were using to have.
There is an XPath. Yeah.
Right, that was using ands.
XPath you can use at class equals whatever and at whatever equals whatever.
Right. So yeah, maybe we can't do that kind of. I mean, I thought that.
You can use XPath if you want.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the sensible thing. I mean, it sort of seems like that according to the CSS specification, it should have allowed us to work. But yeah, so let's do XPath. That's a slightly higher chance of working immediately. Okay, so if we wanted to do with XPath, it would be XPath, and then we have to do / time at date time and at there. That looks right, doesn't it?
Something like that.
Oops. Magic trackpad, not magic enough. So then the only change there is in principle is that okay, so tests kind of thing, you know, just stick a debugger in there and keep running. Wow. What have you? I guess when that's hanging like that, it makes it feel like it's not going to match.
Probably not.
But it's waiting for the timeout. Oh, I think I know. Well, actually, maybe that other thing would. Oh, bloody hell!
What?
In switching things around, it's not doing the interpolation properly.
Yeah, it has to be double quotes on the whole string.
Yeah. I think. Okay.
The whole string has to be double quotes to interpolate.
Yeah. Indeed, it does. What I'm tempted to do here, I think we can do %q like this. I think that's right. Is it? I always get the %q. So there's uppercase and the lowercase. B equals Fred. Q, hello. Fred. Oh, so yeah, the big Q. Really? No, it's on B. Hello, B. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So %q, and then so we can get rid of this, and potentially we can use the slightly simpler CSS syntax. Oh, you're gonna drop it. No, I've copied that over wrong. Let's. Okay. Right. By the way, I'm getting quite detailed feedback on the pairing process, and links to all the videos and so on. We're actually getting a lot of data to potentially analyze for success of pairing sessions and so on. Okay, all right. So that seems to have worked now. I guess it was originally failing for the wrong reason.
We want to see it fail for the right reason.
Yeah. I guess I'm not going to integrate that there. So what do we do in here? Can I just back out of those changes, and then we can see it fail for the right reason? Yeah, I mean, the bigger hypothesis I've got is that if we can have a system that basically allows you to have a really, gives you the greatest possible, so I can't guarantee it, but gives you the greatest possible chance of having, an effective and positive pairing experience with people, then, that's going to be for the, it's got to be good for the long-term success of the community. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And there's several people. We have some very positive reports from some people coming through the MOOC. Anyway, so that that now ended up being a quick fix. Is a very ugly. It's a very ugly acceptance test in terms of its declarative nature. But I think with something like this, that the users are reporting the issue,
we can move on.
Yeah, well, we need to get a fix out, and then we can think about whether we want to spend time doing a bigger clear up. Okay. So I guess I've now just done this on top of that location display bug. So git checkout -b.
Did you actually check, like, locally that it actually fixes the problem? Or?
Well, it's not easy for me to do that.
Oh, right, because you're right next to that time zone.
Yeah.
Although I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's.
We'll push it up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the test. I mean,
right next to UTC.
Yeah. I've just turned that back on. I'll just reload this page. I mean, we get. I mean, I guess all I need to do is create an event close to midnight.
Are you 1 hour ahead of UTC right now?
Yeah. So if I create an event.
So if you create an event and set it in UTC time.
Right, to like 11:30 p.m.
And set it at 11:30.
Right.
p.m. today.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna set this now for 11:33 p.m. You know, it's on me. I mean, actually, if I set it to be Europe, London. I mean, the interesting thing here is I've got my start date that I'm setting here, and this is going to be interpreted as Europe, London. So if what
I would do is set 11:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m.
in UTC. Why don't I set it like, given it's going to auto put me in Europe, London? Doesn't it make more make? I wish it was 24 o'clock. I'll do it in UTC if that's what we want.
It's at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Okay. And that's set to be on the 21st. So if I save that,
it should now appear as the 22nd.
It does appear on the 22nd. And as you point out, it means it's incorrect for the UTC time.
Yeah.
But that's another.
UTC time.
You could file if you wanted to file while I sort out this, pushing this up. You could file that as an issue. Because it's
There's also fixing it on the index page.
There is. You could file an issue for that as well. Right. So here, this issue was 1116. Change day to user time zone. And show page. Git commits -am. Adjusts date display to use local time gem to ensure day matches user time zone. Git push origin 1116. Okay. Hub pull requires -b. Now, why doesn't? It's interesting. So then I do this pull request, and it has these 2 commits, one of which, well, then maybe this will be okay. just tell Raoul what we're.
There. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Do we want to fix the index bug now? Just file a report for it.
That's a possibility. I mean, I think the show page one is more of an issue than the index page one. You know, it's kind of there's sort of the ground truth of it. I mean, the other thing that we might want to be considering is whether we should throw out the local time thing because the testing's a bit ridiculous and switch everything over to moment. Because I guess I would yeah, I would we could have a little pause and look at the. I mean, that's a great default thing to focus on, fix. Did you file a issue for the other thing as well? Oh, brain. It's got, yep, right. Okay. Let me just greet this one person who I invited in. Oh God, can I type? Okay. I'm trying to convince. I'm also working on trying to convince local people to sign up for Premium Plus. That's another story. Okay, so the two. Like, I don't know, what is it like? So, I mean, having done these two, I'm really pleased we've done these two things, and we're also, like, I guess so there's so you're pointing out there that we've got. There's also the event index page, which has, and we can pull. So let's work out. God, what is it? So event index page. That's, you've got 1135 there. So this is date essentially wrong. What do we actually have on the on the index page at the moment? Let's do that one. Right. Well, we have a single. Right, and here. Yeah, it's only displayed in the user's context, and so those dates are going to be, very wrong. Yeah, maybe that is the thing to do now. Actually, yeah, index page is a separate place. It's not going to conflict with that one, although it could make use of the existing step that we just created. So it would sort of make sense to build it on top of it. You also identified the problem in the show page that we UTC time is displayed, but might not match date. That seems like a less serious issue now, because users, to be honest, I think are very rarely going to care.
It's about UTC date.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to want to know what is it in my thing, and yeah. That is 1-1. You just created that one. There is 1133. I'm sort of tempted to say that I feel like, in order to keep the Slack environment as coordinated as we can, that maybe it would make sense to switch and focus on these things now. Particularly this one seems like that should be a very, very simple fix. That will be unlikely to have any merge conflicts with these. Should we pong there, and you want to take the lead on this one?
All right.
Yeah, screen share coming through.
All right.
Okay, so I guess we've got a create event, an events creation. Yeah, we've got create events feature. Okay.
So this is interesting because we want it to default to CS169, right? What if it doesn't exist?
Well, we can I think we can create it in the test context.
Right, but if it doesn't exist, like
yeah, but I mean, I would say, we're going to ensure that it does exist on the production server.
Like forever, or?
Sure. I mean, for the time being. I mean, the point is, I would say in some ways is that, at the moment, that happens to be the project context in which the majority of people are creating events.
Right. So,
and that may change in the future, so that at that point, we'll just change it. Go
on. What we'll do is I guess it feels like we should have a I'm getting ahead of myself.
well, you could write new scenario. Sure. Yeah, I would have been tempted to just add a line to the existing create a new event.
But this is going to test that it doesn't just explode.
Okay.
Because this is going to run. What is it? 169? Is that it? CS169. How's it spelled exactly?
I'm suddenly getting an echo.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I can rejoin. You can rejoin. I'm going to rejoin. I'm in the middle of that. Yeah, so I believe it is exactly that capital CS. The echo is still there.
Oh.
I think well, usually when you rejoin the Hangout,
Is it better now?
No.
Hello?
Hey there.
Is it better now?
It is. Thank you. I wonder, my hypothesis is that Google Hangouts has some sort of echo suppression thing that occasionally just fails.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
So CS169 stuff, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a thing step for this? I feel like there was a step at one point. No.
Yeah. I feel like there's kind of like a faster path to getting a first.
Faster than 2 lines?
Well, yeah. I mean, my okay, no, you carry on doing the way that you want it. I thought, yeah, it feels like we were looking at something before, which was about, there you go, and is selected in the project slot. I think there's the word event is not in there, is it? I think it's just the word event, yeah.
There.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, it'll work maybe.
And then fail for the right reason, I guess.
Unless it just happens. It might just happen to be like.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was created anyway.
Active record not found.
The CSS 169 is selected. I wonder, are they all downcased? I mean, I guess the select. I mean, I guess that's weird.
Unable to find CSS project ID. Interesting.
Are we maybe not? Do we maybe create that step and it's not actually doing what we think it's doing?
I don't know.
It's
It should have it like show me the page or not. I put that in.
sorry, I'm just looking at the product ID equals product slug equals.
Copy.
Your audio is going to break up. I was going to say, if you just click the projects drop down there, it'll show you the 3 things. I mean, I guess you want to see the HTML as well. But.
It's not even in there for some reason.
No, I mean, I think the problem might be: are you actually on the right page there? Like, to go back to the you've got the thing here. I mean, the thing I was saying about what I would thought was the faster path is that.
Oh.
I mean, we've basically got things like lines 13 and 14, which get us and maneuver us all into the right place for creating a.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
well, lines 13 and 14, like the background.
Yeah.
thing that's sort of maneuvering us all into the right place. So if I was I would have just added,
right, but you're not going to. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. I guess it would save us like 3 seconds. Or whatever. But because you're not going to get the test that's going to test the other direction. Able to find like a new button.
Because I think we need to go to the index page first, which is the other step that's also in the previous background.
Yeah, we have to repeat that stuff, unfortunately. Your approach wouldn't let us, I don't know. It wouldn't test the failure case, right?
I'm not sure I understand, but let's carry on. And
the case where CS169 doesn't exist.
Right. I'm not.
Your test would just be written.
I'm not sure I agree, but let's. I may well be wrong. Let's carry on the way that you.
Well, if I put CS169 in here, it's going to exist in all these tests.
Right, and why shouldn't it?
So say someone deletes it one day on production.
Okay, but that's doing it this other way is not going to prevent that being a problem if someone does that in production.
It will prevent. It will test what happens in that event, right? Implicitly.
I guess. Okay, you're trying to write a test as well for the situation in which CS169 doesn't.
Well, implicitly, this is that case right here.
Oh, okay, okay.
To make sure that the form doesn't just explode.
Okay, fair enough. Carry on.
Given the following projects exist, no. So we're unable to find the project ID CSS, which is where we were. Show me the page. Right. So.
Yeah, that's CS169 is selected there. So maybe it just needs to be uppercase.
That project ID.
I think maybe it needs to be uppercase. With you earlier on.
No.
Okay. What?
It's event underscore project underscore ID. Right. It's not just.
Okay.
Go to. Kind of implies that this.
Well, I think we have project drop down in different pages, so I think that you may, by making that change there, you may break it somewhere else. Although I might be wrong.
Do it.
Yeah, because I think the place that we used that originally is on the events index page, where we. I mean that I'm looking at on my screen. The place we've got then all is selected in the project drop down, and I think that refers to the project drop down on the index page where I think it's been given the project ID thing. So I sort of implies that the way that you are writing it for in the event project drop down
is right.
Yeah, we need that, and it needs to be a similar step that also hits the event.
So it would basically be in the event project drop down. So it would be similar. It would say event project ID.
Right.
Come on, passed. That's weird that passed. isn't it?
I guess
It
because
must be that.
it's alphabetical. It's the first.
Yeah.
So you would need to create like something called AAA or whatever.
For roadists.
Roadists. Right. People who like roads.
That's the American. It's that club you belong to that'll
Right.
get broken down.
Indeed. We call it the AA over here.
Well, that's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah. I guess it's now on line 18.
Yeah. On fail for the right reason. Status can't be blank. Okay.
Oh, is that it's got to be active on line 13.
Come on. Fail for the right reason. On. Fail for the right reason. Why did we fail? Expected 30, got 29. That sounds about right.
Do you want to remove the show me the page thing? Line 24.
All right. So now we go into.
Yeah, okay, that error message is kind of weird, isn't it? It's okay, because it's because we're doing expectations of the project IDs.
Custom matcher, yeah.
It's the project IDs things. Yeah, okay.
I think the proper way to do it would be to write your own RSpec matcher that gave a nice.
Right.
Which you could do sometime.
Sure.
Form. Right, here it is. Project ID. So
I think
go on.
I think I found it the other day. There's like a Rails select default thing, default value. Yeah, here we go. So I think we can just parse like selected and then whatever the default thing is that we want. I've got it on my screen.
Okay. So it would go like right here.
I think maybe, yeah, it would go in there. We might maybe use the new syntax as well.
What are you doing? So what we would do is we would just say, for instance, project.find. Shouldn't really be doing this in the view, but anyway.
No, name colon. I mean, you could see if that worked. We might have to call .id on it.
Try. There you go.
Oh, it's title, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that passed.
Okay, so should we see about the other features in the set?
Let's see if it's, what happens if it's nil. Nothing
Yeah.
drastically bad happens, but let's see. So for instance, I don't have CS169.
Locally, yeah. Well, I think partly because you added that try thing, is it the selective will just be equal to nil?
Probably, but I don't know what that actually ends up doing.
Well, I think it just ends up being
Whatever
ignored.
it does by default. Let's click a new project, right? Go back. Go back.
Yeah.
Go back.
You'll need to you'll need to log in, I think, in order to be able to
Yeah.
or to either edit an existing. Well, no, you want to create a new event, won't you?
Continue. Go to projects. I want to create a new event, right?
Yeah, create a new event first. Yeah. So I think it's just choosing.
It just selects the default
first one instead of.
one.
Yeah.
So we should probably do something a little more sensible than this.
Well, that could be moved into the controller, couldn't it?
Controller at least, yeah.
And just you could call it like at, default project.
Default project ID, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good call.
Events.
So yeah, I guess events controller, and this is the new action.
Yeah. At defaults projects ID. That. So is this actually the title, all caps, in the production?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, I think your concern there about what it would do, how it would fail, made it slightly more involved writing the test. But as you say, I guess we now have a test that it's, doesn't, that if someone deletes CS169 on production, it doesn't stop other people creating events.
Unless, of course, we wanted the whole community to stop and be aware of.
Yeah. Well, I guess we've got to set up at the moment where there isn't an event deletion thing through the.
True.
I mean, it's interesting. There's always this judgment call about which of the corner cases, like there's an assessment of how likely is the corner case, how serious are the consequences of the corner case. So to what and so this what's it called? Cost effectiveness or the oh, there's another phrase I think that means that, but sort of the assessment of whether the work put in is appropriate for the potential value gain, and it's extraordinarily subjective, and none of us really know. So it's probably important not to split hairs about it.
All right. So I guess we can commit it.
Yeah. Well, let's pull that over, because that will take care of one key issue in our Slack kindness campaign, which is reducing the number of people creating non-CS169 pairing events. And then I guess we've got the other. We've got a set of nested issues there. Okay, let me pull that over to myself.
Forward pass.
What was that name called? 1109? Did you make a? You're making a pull list.
Yes.
Right, cool. I'll just run the queues locally on my side. So yeah, and the event live thing is like only allowing events to be taken live close to their appropriate time. Yeah. So I think it should be this chunk that we work on here, and it may be messy. I wonder if we can get a simple bit. I'm just gonna, I think, make some tea.
Okay.
I'll leave the hangout running. Rejoin you in like 3 minutes.
All right.
Cool. See you in a second.
Yeah, sewer people.
Little note.
Sewer people are outside doing their amazing stuff.
Are they?
Yeah.
Where would we be without them?
A lot more shit in the world.
Indeed, we would be up to our necks in it, I imagine. Was it add airing back questions to Premium Plus?
They're saying that they have issues with the main line.
Oh, yeah.
And they're running some giant snake down it.
Right, right. Important technology. Very important. So that looks all green and clean to me. Oh, that's not the right thing. Just reflecting on. So we've got. Raul's going to love us. He's just, it's like we're putting these pull faster than he can merge it. Go on.
Summer with 42 million in the bank.
Clinton has got 42 million in the bank. Oh, Hillary rather than Bill.
Hillary's campaign, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Trump has just 1.3 million.
That's interesting. Yes.
The other day, he was begging people for $100,000.
Right. Right. One sort of assumes that he's just rolling in money.
Well, I assume he doesn't want to risk his own money.
I guess not.
Why spend his own money when he can spend donors' money?
Well, quite. Yes. So, yeah, that should help a lot. I should reach out to people who've created their own projects and tell them not to do that. I mean, I guess there's doing here. Let me move that out of there and put it in, maybe in here. I don't know. I'm gonna put this like with WSO, and then like an item here to like work out how to link below to other epics.
Today the first day of summer.
Something like that. Yeah. Which is confusing.
Yesterday was the first day of summer.
Okay. Right. I'm just going to restart that build there, which seems to have failed because what's happened there?
Longest day of the year, solstice.
I think we've got a failing RSpec on your branch there that you just pushed up. We've got an events. There's a request spec for events, which is expecting the. Okay, so I think that default thing is maybe screwing with our pre-population of the form with project.
I'm running the specs.
That's a shame.
What's a shame?
I mean, I was looking forward to moving on to the next thing. How are we having that? How does that work anyway?
What?
And the events, I mean, the events controller, we pass in, like if you try and do new, I guess we've got the, I guess actually what we should maybe be doing there is rather than setting a default item there, we should be checking the incoming parameters. And if there is no project set, then we should set it to this. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Oh yeah, we broke that functionality.
yeah. And it's interesting that we only have that. I guess, well, it has to be a request spec, doesn't it? Because it's just off the URL.
Yeah, because there's no click it on the interface.
Yeah. Now this is a nice. Oh, I think I'm getting so many blog things. There's a nice example here of a regression. Yeah, regression catch, which is, you know, like what's the benefit of testing? This is the benefit of testing. So what is this? This is like project event creation. Other thing there is like complexity issues for. Oh, what's the thing we're just working on? It's like that's like hard coding. CS169 adding test for absence parent styles. Okay, and I guess the other thing this is about to refactor cucumber. Okay.
What I would do is go into the events controller and
yeah. Well, I was just going to look at the request spec. That's the one that's failing.
Go on.
Which is this one here. And what we're assuming is that we do new event path with project edX. So if I just come in here.
So actually what we should go on.
I was just going to run this one test and stop on that point. I suspect you're going to say what I was thinking, which is that we should basically, instead of manipulating this thing, we should manipulate
Like the params.
Exactly. I was going to come in here, and so new param has got product ID, but presumably in other contexts it won't. But so basically we should check for a product ID, and if there is no product ID, then we should set it to this. Come on.
What does new params do? That's a method, right?
New params is, I think, just doing that cleansing thing where we've got it. I think we've got it. We've also got it working out. We're allowing it to turn the project slug name into an ID. So, and that's one of our private methods. So,
am I working on this or you?
well, either way. I sort of, you hadn't shared your screen. I sort of assumed we sort of were ponging there, and I was going to fix this test. But if you'd like to take the lead on it,
unless params project ID, right? Then.
Well, we've kind of got this. I was thinking. I was just looking there on that line. We've got this line. Well, on mine it's 113. Yours 100. The params project ID equals project friendly params project.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
That line 112 there. I mean, you're about to do something new on line 113 there, and I think before we
I'm gonna just go into the forums.
I would have thought we could turn that into a ternary there. Well, anyway, you do what you do, because then we can remove the whole selected thing. Yeah.
Spec.
You want BER instead of BEC there? Control A will take you to the beginning of the line.
So that passed.
Yeah.
And we'll check whether create events passes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll run the whole suite
Mm-hmm.
in the background. You can start working on another thing.
Yeah. I guess there was a minor refactoring there, but if that's just working, I shouldn't care. So, and I should move on to the next thing. Okay.
What was the refactoring?
Just that we've got those 2 lines there. I was thinking of some ternary based upon. I was wondering, you've done unless project ID. Right.
This was set here. This was set here if params project exists.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking there could be a ternary statement based upon the presence or absence of params project, so that we would basically what one could do.
Yeah, I understand, but is it worth it?
Probably not. Not in a world where we want to like actually have a strong impact on the. I mean, it's an interesting conflict between. Yeah, it's all about when is the time for refactoring. I think the bigger fish we have to fry is this one. Now, why does it do that?
I mean, I'm not certain that that's really any more clear anyway.
No. Indeed. Well, and I think when we've got a 3-line method that's in
It's just
for a
put
private thing.
Expressions on one line.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you. I mean, there's some code replication there that I think could be removed, but let's move on. Yeah, absolutely.
like this by itself is a fairly complex. Wow.
Yeah, I think the far more important than whether that can be stroked down or made clearer. I think we've got a very serious user experience issue, that a combination of things. So we've got one is that there are people who might be trying to get into an event, but they fail to do so because they're hitting the start hangout on air thing, and that's probably the simplest one to start addressing is to hide that when the live element is made. There's a concern about how long the live element is going to be around,
And where?
Yeah, and then also about restricting the not being able to start events out of time, but that seems like the way in, definitely for 100 there. So let's do that. Bum, 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 bum. So get checkout minus B, so that we want to. This is 1 to 3. Hide hangout start button when event is live. I mean, I guess there's some nasty corner cases in terms of, like, for example, you start at the hangout breaks, the system thinks it's live and you don't get a start hangout button again. But I don't, that's probably not. Let's not overthink that. So then part of the issue is like, what features do we have related to this? So we've got, what have we got? We've got our Hangout feature. And what does the Hangout feature allow us to do and tell us so far? So we've got Hangout feature. So if I create a Hangout for a Scrum event, then I should see the Hangout button on that show page. Okay, that's fine. Then we should see the event details. Show Hangout details for live event. Given the Hangout for Scrum has been started with these details, and I should see link join now. So this seems like the situation, doesn't it? This one here.
Yeah.
Gosh, and we've got all those interesting things for that. Anyway, so what we would like to see is, and I should not see a Hangout button. If that exists. Because it doesn't, we've got a thing here, and I should see Hangout button. So it looks like we could have that in there. That represents the negation. What's annoying here is that we have this lovely RSpec syntax that makes it terribly easy to read. But if we do this negation thing, then we kind of, there's no, it's really annoying. And at the moment here, what we're doing is we're finding that thing and we're checking for that thing. So we kind of end up with if neg I guess this is the least offensive of these bits and pieces here is like this. See, like if...
Well, you're not even going to find that if it's, well, depending on how capybara.
Yeah, I should not see Hangout button. Neg if... No, it's the other way around, isn't it? It should be that and this. Okay. So I think we want that. Okay, that's 41 in Hangout feature. BE cucumber features Hangout feature 41. So this should fail. And beneath. Okay. So it was unable to find. Now that's interesting there. Oh no, wait a second. This is going to, the show page for the Scrum. Okay, but so then that's got so it's failed to find. Move this over here. It's failed to find this element in the page.
Yeah.
Now this is I think the page find is not going to wait.
So
these ones will work. Go on.
Right before it. Oh, go on.
No, go on.
You were saying something.
I was just going to say, like, I think there's a thing with Capybara, like well, if you do like something about expect page to have content, it will automatically wait like for the Capybara timeout before it finds it. Whereas this executes immediately.
Correct.
I mean, in this case, I mean, I guess the other thing to do here is check the functionality that we have locally. So if we've got an Osra Scrum, then we can edit the Hangout link and save it. And then the event is now live. and it takes a second to load that. But so the implication from...
I would say you should expect to not see it.
Right.
I would put that whole source thing inside the else.
Yeah, right. So, but
I would take line 2 and put it on line 6.
Yeah.
Unless you don't.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, I mean, there's with JavaScript off, there's kind of like an iframe. Yeah, maybe the source is not set until it actually, I mean, it presumably goes from, like, there's a transition that it goes through. But so you would think here is that we should expect page not to have
CSS, yeah.
Not to have CSS.
And then depending on...
Yeah. That might work. The thing I'm thinking about as I do it and test it is, does it not insert the iframe? Why is that? Oh, good. Okay. While that's thinking about running, I was just going to turn off JavaScript because I'm curious if we load this page now. Right, so it has... We've turned off the JavaScript. See, it has the live Hangout placeholder. And then what are we looking for? Anyway, so here, so that's now worked, but it's passing for the wrong reason. Like, we would expect to see this to fail at this point.
Yeah.
But so what we've got here is we've got this div. The div is in there. Like, we've got somewhere in the views, we have got a event. The show view pulls in something from the shared views. Do we not have shared views? Under Hangouts, hookups, Hangouts management.
You might just change it to not have the iframe in the assertion. Of course, that's... Yeah, if you just get rid of the iframe part.
Well, so this is the thing. I think it has this. This is what I'm just looking for here. Like, if we look at the show page, it renders some, it's event instances, isn't it? Like, there's a Hangout, which is the partial that it actually, it's the Hangout button. So this is the HTML. See, it basically, it's going to have a div with ID live Hangout placeholder independently of what happens. So it's going to have that.
Isn't the idea to hide it or no?
Well, yeah, I guess we will end up hiding that div. Get rid of that one. Hangout steps. Yeah, so we could be, yeah, but the placeholder stays there. But I don't know if it fell for the right reason. So that's still, oh, no. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. No, that is failing for the right reason. Save it page path is difficult. Okay. So then, to actually make it do whatever, we would now, so we've got in here, then we've got these different, so this is what we're currently using to check if the Hangout is live or not. And we've got this recent Hangout entity. presumably that I can replace that with a try and remove this ridiculous prefix.
Yeah.
It's a recent hangout, and that's coming in from, this is the events controller show operation. So we've got recent hangout. Okay. So it takes the, whatever, the very first recent hangout. Okay. So it's kind of annoying that the that becomes less readable like that, doesn't it? Feels like we should declare method missing on nil. I guess if I wanted Ruby to behave the way I wanted to, I could just declare method missing on the, I guess nil must be an object, right? So I could declare method missing on the nil class and then basically have it return nil. I mean, that would probably like extraordinarily break loads and loads of other parts of Ruby. But anyway, oh well, I wanted to behave like Objective-C. Okay, so then we've got here, we've got button hangout UID. That's, oh no, what is it? It's here. That's interesting, and it's creating a hangout UID which gets passed into. That's very interesting. That the
monkey patching the nil class.
Yeah, I know it's a bad idea. I'm noticing here that the local elements, like it's like if there is a live element, then we pass the hangout ID into the button. Not sure what purpose, if any, that serves. I mean, that what we're doing. So here, we're kind of saying, let's do this. Like that. No, I should put it on the side of the div. Yeah, I was reading more JavaScript stuff at lunchtime, single page apps. I mean, I guess it's a totally different model, really, in terms of the new approach that we're talking about there would involve eventually you would lose all of these view files, right?
Yes, potentially.
Okay, so
and there's also a funny, so when you go to a single page app, right?
Yeah.
Everything loads in the browser, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it executes in the browser using the client-side code.
Uh-huh.
So people have gotten to the point where that can be kind of slow, depending on the size of the app, right?
Right.
Especially when they first load it up.
Mm-hmm.
So what people do sometimes, like, is they'll still have their Rails app or whatever, right? Which is basically just a backend API at this point. And like, they'll load the single page app into the browser. But what they'll do is they'll actually use Node to be the Node point, and what it will do is it'll render it all in the Node browser and get all the DOM.
Okay.
Rendered server side on the Node, and then ship it over to the client.
Okay.
That's called isomorphic. They call it isomorphic JavaScript, and it makes it load faster.
Yes. Yes. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the guys in the single page application book are just sort of
so they have this. They have the Node, which actually serves the single page, and then they have the Rails backend that the single page reaches out to. So literally, at that point, you don't have Rails doesn't render anything, like any views at all.
Yeah, I mean, then you start asking, like, what is the purpose of using Rails at all?
Right.
I guess you've got legacy stuff, but anyway. So this we seem to have at a first pass this thing, the event being live. This has disappeared.
Does the test pass at all or no?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
We could run the other. I mean,
Now the other question is, I mean, longer term is whether you'd want something that pulled the server and figured out, so that if someone loaded the page 5 minutes ahead of time and then walked away and came back, that button would still show, right?
Yeah, I mean, the absolutely, we would like it.
I loaded the page and then walked away.
Yes.
Meantime, you hit start Hangout. And
Yeah.
Yes,
we would very much like that.
Then
and that was
live. It doesn't even show me that it's live, right?
I mean, what we would really like ultimately is some sort of WebSocket setup where, I mean, that was they tried it with polling and other things in the past, and it was a total nightmare. But yeah, if we could set it up so that it used, that basically when you looked at an event show page, that it basically ran a WebSocket that allowed us to do kind of a lightweight thing where, so basically, if you had that page open, it would get updated when the event went live, and you would never have a stale site. Right. Yeah, I mean, this is like a partial fix. So now this is complaining that I should see Hangout button is now not implemented. And that's probably because I've got too many spaces in there. Yeah, all right, fine. Yeah, no, this is totally not going to, like, if somebody has opened it in advance, yeah, it's totally not going to fix it. I feel like
there's so many, like, big sites out there, though, that still operate this way.
Yeah.
Like Amazon, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't just rewritten everything, and there's, like, so many storefronts and so many big sites that have existed for a long time.
Yes.
Well,
go on.
10 years ago model.
Yeah.
That people are still kind of used to it.
Yes, and I think there's this. I mean,
it's only like it feels like it's just like the new startups that are kind of that all have like fresh code. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's what it feels like. It's all the fresh, like all the startups that like have existed for like a year or two, 2-3 years.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. It's like if you've got, a legacy load of stuff,
you're not just run out and rewrite everything overnight.
Right, and unless there's a clear win, and from Amazon, it's much from the big companies. Sure, let them do it. Some of them do well, we'll buy them, and then we'll get their tech. It's,
sure.
Now, for some reason here, like I should see Hangout button. This is the thing to make stuff optional. In like I've got a. Why is that? Why, and according to that, it's not matching. What? That I'm confused. Okay. But so event steps, have we got examples of other things where we just have a not in it? Oh no! Oh my! Stupid. It needs a question mark on the end of it. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, and it's the thing. I mean, Nick is suggesting. I mean, I think we need to, particularly, resource starved as we are, we need to be careful in terms of making plans to refactor large portions of things because it's there's the overhead against actually improving the user experience. Okay, so that's working there, I guess. Now that's interesting. Why have I ended up with screenshots on the local? I thought we fixed that. Anyway, git commit -am. So this is
you want all the latest technology, right?
Yeah, but at what cost? Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a separate argument which says, we would have a lot more people involved in agile ventures if we were doing much more cutting edge things, and that's an argument for moving in that direction and moving in that direction faster than we currently are. So hide Hangout button on show page when
Cool.
when event is live. I mean, what in particular? I mean, as I reflect on this, origin is we've got. I mean, I think what Website One shows is. I mean, I think it was a fantastic learning experience for the people originally developing it, but I think it also shows how messy things can get as well. And sort of for us, I mean, I was looking I wanted to do all this, but partly because of sort of the mess and the fact that some of the tests don't actually cover what they should cover and this, that, and the other, we have to be like really, really cautious, sort of moving stuff around on the off chance that we break, all this, that, and the other. And there's an argument that maybe we would be better off re-engineering the site in a different technology stack. I mean, something that the whole experience might be a lot stronger if we were doing a full node stack and we support for WebSockets. Like, it comes down to these questions of is the lack of freshness of an event page, for example, is that causing us a drag of like we're losing 5% of the activity that we might have, or would fixing that actually fundamentally change the proposition of the site and about the extent to which people its usability and their desire to get involved with coding it. Against we've got this legacy system which has got a couple of thousand members in it who are with a legacy database which would need to be migrated over or thrown out, and then also our own skills in managing a project of this complexity in Rails, which are not to be sniffed at. But okay, well, that's fixed that.
Well, this project's not complex, really.
Well, I mean, I would say that it's not trivial. There are clearly much more. There are things on much larger scale, but I think there's a lot of moving parts in this system. I think
I agree with that.
That also and inconsistencies and lack of test coverage or this, that, and the other, and just the process of technology changing, new gems, this, that, and the other, mean that like while I think our progress is hampered, then again, like as you were discovering, going through React and whatever, and is like, new framework, you're getting used to things. There's a separate kind of speed issue. So we've got this. So we've then got the live element.
I just worry that we spend so much time on Rails or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you might be right. I mean, I built a lot of systems in Java, and Rails is moving to Rails, Java and PHP, and Rails is a lot more productive than that, at least initially. But absolutely, if we could find an alternate framework to switch to, where we could quickly build like the key elements of the site that we actually need and jettison a lot of the garbage and move fast, that would be fantastic. And in fact, I sort of suggested that a year and a half ago, and Thomas's reaction was, "Oh, how dare you suggest that when everybody's put all this hard work into building this, wonderful Rails system?" And I was kind of like, "Oh, sorry, just it seems to be difficult to maintain." I mean, now we could absolutely put it down. I mean, I think we get a lot of value from the fact that we have a running system, and we now have, compared to local support, which doesn't have that many users, we now have people from the MOOC coming through and using it and creating these events. And I think we're independently, whether we're doing it in Rails or in Node or what have you,
Right.
like things like sorting out the time zone stuff and just trying to make it usable is a really valuable experience. But ultimately, yeah, maybe we need to take what we're learning here and rebuild it in a completely different stack. I'd be
I mean, I don't
totally
know. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether we need to completely rebuild an entirely new stack or just.
Oh yeah, no, or just inject some React into it. Yes, I mean the idea of that blog post that you put in of gradually adding in some React pieces and experimenting with that process sounds good. But so I guess then the so we've got two things here that we could work on. I will have to go and get some water. Two things here are, one is how long this live event is displayed, and then a separate one which is only allowing the events to be taken live close to their appropriate time.
I mean, in terms of getting React running, there's a large amount of work to be done with the tooling. Although potentially that jump get us running.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, that there are. Yeah.
Because the one thing with the Node world,
yes,
seems to be that the attitude is, well, just write your own scripts.
Yeah.
Like write your own npm script or your own gulp script.
Right.
To do and use these, like they have like this, like a lot of the skill or whatever is like knowing what package this month exists to like make this or that easier. And there's just so many, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's a fast moving thing. I mean, and it's the thing that it reminds me of is, you know, we switched to Ninefold from Heroku for hosting local support, and ultimately Ninefold disappeared. I think we learned quite a lot in the process, but it also sucked up a certain amount of time. I mean, and okay, we've got an RSpec failure on that thing. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Node is going to disappear anytime soon. But.
No. But it's kind of, we could put, you know, a fair amount of work into it and then discover that we're stuck, you know, depending on what we want to achieve. Yeah, I think experimenting with, I mean, the critical thing is about that point at which, now what is this? We've got some, what is this? We've got some show spec that's checking for the presence of this thing. Yeah, I mean, I think the point is can we, will there be a, like, for example, if we were like, React has some great WebSockets libraries that would make it trivial for us to maintain the page state, you know, directly. I mean, Rails also has like active connection now, or active pipe or something, which is supposed to work with WebSockets. And I think, you know, it would be nice to be introducing it in the context of, you know, getting a win for the user experience. And ideally that will be connected to us having, you know, having fixed other bugs. We can say, right.
There's also that other platform that people are using called Meteor now.
Oh yeah. Indeed, there is.
JavaScript.
Yeah. I've done some stuff in it. Yeah, we're spoiled for choice. Okay, So we're being hit with a spec failure for one of the views, events, show, and this is, where is this failing? And it's in some kind of complicated, what the hell? It's like Hangout for signed in users. Hangouts for signed in users. Okay, we've got it behaves like setup. Oh God. And so somewhere, this is now, this is events show, and this is being pulled in. So it's checking, what is that? No, it behaved like there. It's doing a set of allows.
It has a hangout button, this house.
You know, the behaves like there's a corresponding is that, like, it has a hangout button. So then do we have, is it like a shared, is it support, shared examples, shared example for hangout button? Okay, so it behaves, so shared examples for, right, is the matching thing there. And so then this is, it's saying it's expected to have this thing here, and we've got certain contexts without settings. We've got two contexts which are both failing there. So with settings, hangouts.ssl host, and without, now what's the difference between these two things? Title, category, product ID 2s squish, event ID 2s squish, user 1. Both of those data tags look identical to me. No, it's my fancy host and test.host. Okay. I don't know why that one, expecting that one to have nil, it renders it. So presumably this is, oh, go on, spinning beat ball of death. Is that going to be Ribbon Mind saying calling it a day? Yes, okay, fine. So there, you know, I'm partly tempted to delete the spec as the path of somewhat least resistance. It's sort of worrying, not understanding all of what this is referring to. And I wonder if there's a, go away. Is that the show page? There's the show page. So the show page, what we've added is something in here. So we're trying live at recent hangout, and is at recent hangout set. So I guess in this context, recent hangout is not created.
Nope.
So I guess if we do nil try live.
Well, I mean, there is a recent hangout before each hangout on line 33.
Yeah, but that's not in this context.
Yes, it is.
Oh, so you're right. Yeah, no. So we have we do have there. So I was looking at this one. So we've got the recent hangout is created. Okay, so
but it
okay,
has
this
stubbed like on 49.
Yeah. Okay.
It is stubbed.
Right, but this one here. I mean, it's stubbed here. We've got. I mean, that's there's things like this. It's like this is actually identical to this.
Yeah.
So this is context hangout is live.
That's a different context, yeah.
And then, but this context here for signed in users, I mean, it seems to me actually these should be false. I mean, if this is supposed to be creating a different context, and then this is for signed in users, it has a hangout button when it's not live. Yes, I don't know. I mean, but maybe it's foolish of them to think that we could, with our more recent understanding of these different things. Okay. So this then adds or changes spec to reflect view spec to reflect new logic. I mean, could we build, you know, a new system which didn't have so many inconsistencies in it and made it easier to develop on? Or is that just sort of hubristic? So did I already have a pull request open for that one? What have we got? Is this, yeah, hide hangout button on show page when event is live. Okay. I mean, I sort of feel like if we started over and we were using Cucumber, then, you know, we could really try and avoid the, you know, explosion of imperative things and so on. I think that the challenge with the JavaScript world is that the testing support is not as good. But so, well, we should tong there. I'm thinking we could take a stab at basically only displaying the Hangout button in the duration of. So what have we got? This where we have this logic here at the moment that's saying, you know, don't display it if the Hangout is live. What we could also be doing is checking, you know, are we within the, you know, first 10 minutes of the, like checking the time that it starts and only displaying it then, and that would at least prevent people starting the Pacific Scrum, you know, completely out of time. I've got to grab some, I don't know, and do we have a ticket for that? What have we had? We had, I think. Yes, Scrum started at the wrong times.
And we're doing this off the other branch or not?
I think we would need to stay with this. Would need to happen on top of the one that we've just done. I mean, there's kind of, this is almost an extension of this. So there's, I mean, this, you know, I open this ticket here. And there's kind of two issues in there. We've got to rebuild on that one. One is, and I've got these possible solutions: prevent the scrums we create outside of a time window around their actual runtime. Provide labeling to indicate to non-feed users they shouldn't start from it. So forget trying to add labeling to it. And then there's sort of a second issue, which is the. So we've written this one to sort of fix this issue. But basically, this is the whether we should separate that out into a different ticket now. I'm not sure. But so it ends up being that it's also, they're kind of conflated. I've got to go and grab some water. I'll be back in a moment. Should I just create a separate?
What?
I'll just create a separate ticket here to give us a different number, which is prevent events being taken live too far out of their time. Okay, related to 0. Let's have the Hangouts button hidden until at least till 10 minutes before an event, and until the finish time. Okay. So there's 1138 if you wanted to start a branch. Get some water.
Is there a thing to assert whether the Hangout's on the page or not?
Yeah, I think we just used it in. Did you build off developer or off the last?
Off the last one.
Yeah, so I think at the top of Hangout steps, there's a. I should not see the Hangout button, I think is the name of the.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Should not see Hangout button.
Sorry.
Scenario outline. Scenario outline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Examples. There we go.
Hmm. Oh, there's something about the scenario. There's this outline. There's like the colon on line 83. Does it need to be flush to the word outline?
Yeah, maybe. Let's run on it. Maybe examples needs to be up further.
Maybe. What was the other scenario outline that we were looking at before? That was in the. Was that in show events feature? No.
That okay, so are we so I'm 5 minutes before the scrum, and I should not see us passing.
Mm-hmm.
Should see it, right?
Right.
Failed steps. Unable to find CSS live HOA placeholder iframe. So that suggests that it's needs to have JavaScript.
Yes, almost certainly, and that's the. But I think you've just added JavaScript to the feature below rather than the one that you want.
Sorry. Got it. So this should pass.
We would hope so.
The default. Maybe. Maybe it won't pass. No. Failed. Is this step really working in this affirmative or no?
Yeah, I mean it's green for other places. I wonder if the number of spaces. I mean, this like it.
Oh.
Just check where is it? What's it actually failing on? On line 5, and then it's unable to find CSS live.
I see Hangout button. I should see Hangout button. It's failing on that.
It's failing on the. It's. I'm just thinking. Yeah, it's. I was thinking there about it. Is it passing like should space, and then it's being one of the spaces is being taking it to the negation. But if it's saying that it fails to find the thing space iframe, it's definitely
Wasn't this
expecting
the issue that it couldn't find that?
Well, I think that's kind of.
It's going to wait, or I guess
I think
will.
it's. Well, no, I don't think it does with page find. I think in like you could start that with like expect page to have CSS live frame placeholder iframe, and then it'll wait for it to come in, and then it can check for that subsequent match.
So was that step not being used before, or what?
I think it is being used, and I think it maybe a fails case. I see it fail occasionally.
Yeah, that's not passing. It's going to fail. Yep, going to fail.
Huh. Okay. But so can we go back to the feature? Is all the setup there as we would expect it to be? So I mean, and we're certain that this. I mean, like, we've got event Scrum,
which is at 2.14.203.7.
right? And we also know that this it's not live. Like, I would be tempted to take this new scenario that you're adding like up to the top, so we've got it next to the background, so we can kind of see the data close to the thing that we're working on. So we've got an event Scrum.
Doesn't say live or anything.
No. So this is Hangout feature, but do we have another? I should see. Did you modify an existing scenario, or you created one from scratch?
Created one from scratch.
Because we're in. Oh, you're in show event feature. Okay. Okay. I guess there's also. I think you have to be logged in. I think you have to be logged in.
So how do I do that?
You can say, given I am logged in.
All right.
Yeah. Right. Was it line 16?
16. So this is 5 minutes before.
Right. And at the moment, there aren't any changes, so it should.
And then we'll do 11 minutes before. So should not.
Mm-hmm.
And that should fail. Yeah, so that's failing for the right reason. I found it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to do something here, right?
Hmm.
So I guess. So recent hangout.
So recent hangout is the event instance I think, that corresponds to this event. But so the thing that we want to check here is the like the actual event time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I sort of feel like it's going to be complex enough that it would be sensible to sort of put it into a helper method.
It's nil.
In this context, because it's not, there is no event instance because it hasn't been taken live.
Yeah.
So that's why we have the try.
Is there anything in this context?
Well, I think we've got. If you look at what we want is.
Start date time.
Yeah, and so I guess we've got an issue here in terms of we kind of want to know the local time.
No, not really.
I guess not actually. We'll just because if we do the complete calculation on the server side, yeah. So we've got the start date time.
So basically, if time.now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, can you do time.now is greater than event.start date time minus 10 minutes or something?
Yeah. And because that's in the first instance. 2 minutes would be false because we're within 5 or whatever. Yeah, so that looks right.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, you can throw it in the view and we'll extract it to a helper method, or possibly into the controller, maybe.
So
I want to remove the debug statement, maybe.
we actually want this to be a bang, right?
Hmm.
And we want this to be. So if it's live or.
Well, this is saying like unless it's live, so it's kind of saying it's like if not.
Yeah, I think that's potentially right.
I was surprised that it got caught on the debugger there, because it seems like you'd already removed the debug statement. Maybe the file wasn't saved. See, it's saved now.
So it depends on. All right. It depends on the. So okay, let's just step back from this because this is. Unless the Hangout is live, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to show it, right? Or
Right.
Unless the Hangout is live, or but we don't want to show it when it's.
We don't want to show it if it's more than 10 minutes before the start time, or it's after the start time. So we kind of, I mean, although the test that we're working for at the moment is like not showing it if we're
like that right there, right? Or time.now.
No, I think that's if time.now is greater than event.start time minus 10 minutes, then we do want to show it.
Right. So that's the unless.
So you and rather than oh, okay, yeah. run it and see. I mean, there's this thing where if you have if you're knotting two things, it ends up. If you're knotting two ors, it ends up being the knot.
I'm wondering.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think one of the things that we might want to do is pull like that method where we're checking if it's 10 minutes before the start time, whatever, is like make that a method. Make that a method on the model. I think it's kind of. I think it might be not unreasonable to drop down to here to make a unit test of a method on the event model, and get the question that we want to ask is like we want to ask something like like what would we ask the event? We'd ask event like the
really
question.
A model method?
Well, you could ask the event less than 10 minutes till start. The event knows its date time. So rather than querying the object and then making the comparison ourselves, why don't we give the object the responsibility of being able to tell us whether it's more or less than 10 minutes until.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just I'm go on.
Specs and things. All right, so oh god, build stubbed event, right?
I mean, I would start at the top of the file. Or are you looking for other places related to? I mean, we're going to create a new method for the.
Less than 10 till start?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Question mark, yeah. So it gives us a built event, doesn't it? There, like subject event, build stubbed event. So we can.
Yeah, I don't really know what that does, though.
Well, I think is build stub a factory girl method?
Probably. Very specific date time. I'm just going to overwrite that.
Yeah. Well, you can override it within the. Not you have to override there that may have knock-on effects on all of the tests. Just override it on line 40 within the.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, what I was suggesting is rather than build stubbed is just you could say event dot date time, start date time equals what have you. You could kind of like punch the existing event that you have.
But why do that?
Because it's less text.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it seems like you're. Okay, so. How are we going to do DeLorean?
Is it the one we're using rather than time cop?
That's what it says. Or do we have
right. After each back to present, before each sets the whatever. DeLorean set time. Okay. DeLorean set of macros for mocking time. No, let's go find a Ruby one. Okay, time travel in Ruby. You can also jump, which is like sleep without losing time. We don't care about that. Let's travel in time. Time travel to 1 month ago. Back to the present. That seems to be moving forwards and backwards. I mean, to be honest, rather than moving a fixed amount of time forward and backwards, I would prefer to be able to just specify the existing time. I think, do we not also have time cop available to us?
Well, the after hook is actually using DeLorean. Okay.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, I'm not. Maybe DeLorean has some mechanism to set the current time. I mean, this is like time travel too. Maybe we can just pass it, like.
Well, why don't we set this? To be right now.
Okay.
Well,
I guess because the test becomes possibly undeterministic, but.
okay, well, what do you suggest then?
Well, I would suggest using timecomp, but if you're very keen to use,
Actually, but just do whatever. I don't even think time cop's in here.
no,
No. Doesn't.
no, I'm not seeing it. Okay. So DeLorean, does it have a wiki? No.
DeLorean Ruby specific time.
Well, I'm just going to go in RB and require DeLorean. And yeah, so maybe time travel 2 can just take a date. So if I say time travel 2 and I say 2002, like so, time.now. Does it even work in this context? Time travel 2, 1 month ago. Time now. Okay, so it moves, it allows us to pass into a certain thing relative. Okay, alternative back to 1985. Okay.
That's the present time. That's the go to present time.
Just another thing for it.
All right, so what I'm going to do.
Huh? Okay, I think I found a way to travel to a specific date in time.
Oh.
So I think previously when I just gave it the year, it didn't work. But
DeLorean travel.
Time travel to.
I didn't see that, but let's just assume that this works.
Yeah.
It's spec models spec 39. All right. All right, so how are we going to describe this?
So
in the context where
it's less than 10 till whatever, then we could say expect event
minutes. It's expect events less than till start true, right? was 2 minutes before. Undefined method. There we go.
Right.
Define less than 10 till start, and we hard code it to true. And that now passes. Why did that? Okay, that passed because I hard coded it.
Mm-hmm.
Subject, it, expect, false. All right, so we also have the case where it's actually after the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. But I guess until we have the acceptance test for that, let's not worry about that.
Right. So where was that code at? It was over here, right?
Right.
All right, so let's run that spec.
So there, I think there's, we just removed the at event. Yeah.
Really? Expected false, but got true.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 10 till start, more than 10 till should equal. So this got true.
Which one got the one on line 43 got true?
No. One on line 47.
47 got true. I would be tempted to run precisely that test with bybug in it. I would be tempted to put the bybug in the method there, but I guess both is good as well.
So it didn't seem like it said it correctly.
The time, yes, you've done time now inside there.
Oh. Oh, wait. The time was set correctly.
23. That's it.
Seconds later, but
So that time is actually 20 minutes after the event. Like the event, you just do start underscore date time there.
it's 20 minutes. No, but oh, right, the event. True.
I don't think you have event in
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
in scope there.
So what we need to do, so we're at 12:30 or 11:30.
11:30.
So we started
The
at
event, right?
and actually we should be testing, I guess.
Yeah. Like 35 or whatever.
Yeah. So those pass.
Okay. Cool. So now we can ask the event.
All right. So what should our logic be?
Well, so if we imagine it without the recent hangout.try, we would basically want to be saying here, if the event is less than 10 till start, then we should be trying to show it.
Yeah.
I think I always find it extraordinarily difficult to use unless with multiple things. So I think maybe if we want to change the unless to an if and say if not, so when we're saying if it's not live and the event is less than 10 till start, then we want to display the hangout button. I think that should be the correct logic.
I passed. Go.
Okay. You want to pong there?
Sure. What did we do?
We adjusted the event show page to only show hangout button 10 minutes before event start time.
Are you doing a text dump?
Yeah.
All right. I just update it, send it.
Yeah. Okay. So so this is 1138. I should just go to check out like that, and then I get a copy of it. Okay. So we should have spec event models event spec.rb. Yeah, I mean, what would be lovely is if like someone would give us a couple of $1 million and we could just sort of spend, we could leisurely, well, maybe that would be totally the wrong thing to do, but we could leisurely spend like the process of like actually creating real stuff from scratch. I don't know. Okay, so we've got the events.
We'll have to have like a plan to get like 1 billion users now.
Yeah, that's the problem with getting other people to give you money. And then it creates enough rope to hang yourself with spec models, event spec. Have a look at this here. So I think we can also, like, can we do this? I should have run that specific one. No.
Maybe don't.
I was just trying to use this alternate. Is it broken to? And what is it? It's failed here because to respond to less than to okay, yeah, and just needs to remove the. So there's a like this thing when you're there's a shortening syntax that we can use here that makes it slightly more readable, I think, where we can say here that.
Really?
Yeah, so we can say, you know, it expects event to be less than 10.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's wrong there. Just like this. And it sort of saves you juggling the
false and all that crap.
Yeah, exactly. And this, if I no, really, that fails. Okay. So and that's now to not to. And so that there, if we take that context, which is 39, and we just run, what does it say about our model? It says, deprecation warning. You attempted to assign a value which is not explicitly true or false to a Boolean column. Event spec in 128. Anyway, this one here. So event less than 10 till start, more than 10 till should not be less than 10 till start. Less than 10 till should be less than 10 till start. And that's the consequence of it being this kind of it. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you an automatics.
Yeah, which I don't think makes so much context in it.
What else is on the board now?
I think the follow-up for this one is making. I mean, maybe this will have done it, but so I guess like it will go. I guess will the Hangout button come back after the event stops being live? That's the until starts.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, probably not, because it'll catch the 10.
I get like if the event live
More than 10, right?
correctly corresponded to the duration of the thing, or that it was actually running, then it would kind of
Wait.
Go on.
Isn't this totally wrong, what we're doing here?
You think so?
We shouldn't be getting the start date time. We should be getting the next event, right?
That's true. Why did that not change that? But yeah, okay, so in the context of, that's the bloody spec, I don't care about that.
Because we have these recurring events. We actually care about
Yeah, so what we care about is the event. What we care about is this. It's like event next occurrence with time. Like that's what we care about, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Do you want to change this?
yeah.
Obviously change that.
Yeah, so and I'm just thinking about in order to support having a next event occurrence with time, I think like it has. Well, if this is not a repeating event, in the first instance, it's that. Where's the factor? He's gone.
Right, but that
Factories.
doesn't really help us with Kent back.
But anyway, I'm just looking here. This actually, the default event that it's created is a repeating event. So yeah, we need to set.
I say we should go forward. We should go to a different date.
Yeah, absolutely. We should jump forward. So I mean, if this is already a repeating event, we've got the repeating event ends on that. So if we put this onto the 14th day,
Then everything will break, right?
we might expect it to do so. Okay. Yeah. And so the fix for that, do I have the event model? App model event. So we've got our little there. So instead of the start date time, we should be caring about the next occurrence with time, apparently.
And if that's nil, what happens?
So that's just coming back false. And I guess, is there... What's going on here? Let's run that one specifically. Okay, so we're in here. So next occurrence with time is that, and the time is that. So it's predicting the next occurrence to be on the 16th of March.
And what's today? The next 16th of March?
Well, it's just funny. It's like if this was the it's repeating on a particular. It's repeating on like a different day of the week. So I think in order to catch the next event, it actually needs to be, instead of a week ahead, it needs to be like the 16th for it to. So here now, and so we can, the time now is that the 16th, and yes.
And what if we have an event where it's terminated or whatever?
Well, I think that whole section doesn't display anyway, but let me just get the by bug out of. Oh, where's that bloody thing gone? There it is. No, I didn't want to run that one. I want to run the whole set, which is like, let's run the whole. Okay, so those are all green.
Do you want to create a test context where the event is terminated?
I do. I just want to. The kind of the description of the thing is bothering me slightly. So we're describing the method less than 10 till start, less than 10 till start, and so the context we have here. This is an event. So this is actually it's the context. Event starts 5 minutes from now, and this context is event starts 20 minutes from now. And then in this context it should be returns true and returns false. And this was from 39, still on 39. I mean, it's certainly not saying doing it now. It feels to me this is like a thing that could be pulled into a mix-in, and then we could have it behave like, temporal or what have you. There we go. So the event method, less than 10 till start. Given the event starts 20 minutes from now, it returns false. If the event starts 5 minutes from now, it returns true. I prefer that. Okay. Right. Okay. So is now
context event has terminated.
Right. Now you're thinking about the event terminating in the context of that this might be nil, or you're thinking about the.
I want to see what it does anyway.
Right.
Repeating event is terminated.
Okay. So you want to in this like you want to do a context. So context event. What's the word? Yeah, as like sequence has been terminated.
And
so we can get to that. So go on.
If you set the end date or whatever.
I'm just looking for the. I mean, I think it ended in 2015. So if we jump, so in this thing, we would need to.
Well, you can set right there on line 58. You can set the end.
No, date. that will step. Right, but there's a default end date already for this event, which is like 2015. So.
Well, you can That's the point. You can overwrite it. And that build stopped.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess my inclination is, to, like, it feels to me like I can more quickly just go here and go after the.
And I'm just thinking when you come back to read it later.
Sure. But let
go around and look and.
Indeed. But so we would like. That's still what we would expect in that context. Yeah, I mean we've got an issue of the making it explicit what we expect about that event. Either way, we will need to jump to a particular point in time at some point in the future.
Well, you're already in the future. You're 360.
No, well here like we're in 2014.
What I'm saying is you can set the date to terminate, say on 310.
Right. Okay, so before that happens, fair enough. Yeah. So then end. And
then get rid of line 60.
Yeah, all right.
Is that actually the way that it should be formatted, or let me go on the spec? Factories.
Oh, end dates. I had the factory open a minute ago.
Repeat ends on.
Oh, okay.
And then the date in the year, month, day format.
For that.
Yes.
Factories, events. Right.
That'll overwrite the factory.
Okay. Yeah, and that passes.
So it did return the right thing. That's
So the event sequence has been terminated. Yeah, it returns false in that we would not expect. You know, we're asking the question: is it less than 10 minutes till it starts?
So
There are no future events, so the answer is no. So,
okay.
so that's yeah.
We can make up this house for that too.
Yeah. Well, we could. Yeah. Well, we could do. I would just the other thing that I'm thinking of here is the I guess actually no, this does do. Yeah, I was thinking of a acceptance test independently of the whether it's been terminated. I mean, there's another situation that it's like 20 minutes after the last event has finished.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we could say event.
I just feel like I don't know.
Well, yeah. Now this is both of these are moving beyond what we've explicitly set for the acceptance test to do.
Right.
But there, you had a kind of concern about what would happen in this situation.
Okay, go on.
I had a concern about, yeah, in this situation. So event finished 10 minutes ago. So if we look at the event there, it's at least it's defaulted to duration 1. So I guess to be explicit, we can say duration 10.
So it ended at midnight.
Right.
And what day are we on? Oh.
So there. What did I do in this one? We brought the repeated. So we are on. Well, the time is set to this. So in this context, this is maybe not.
That doesn't make sense.
But so if I put that to 8 and then all zeros.
Well, what you would do is you would change the start date. You would change the time that it starts.
Okay. Right? Yeah, for me, I keep on thinking about I'm moving the time, but the way that you've structured this is around adjusting the time of the event. So if this is the time here, the difficulty is that we've set this because there is a date. This is like one of the repeating dates. So we could set it to midnight on the 17th.
Correct.
Like so.
That will do. It didn't finish 10 minutes ago, though.
No, sorry, it'll need to be 10 more minutes.
You mean 12? You mean like 11:20? You mean like 11:10? 11.
Oh, yeah, because it's the.
Or 23:10.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I'd find the whole thing more intuitive if we had a single event and then we moved the time to where it's supposed to be. Anyway, we're in this situation. So 16, and we're saying, so if the event started at 23:10, it lasted 10 minutes. That's 23:20. It's now 10 minutes.
It's now 11:30, so it ended.
It's now 11:30. So.
And we expect to get false, right?
Right.
We're hoping, because then good things happen.
Yeah.
We do get false.
Yeah, and that all is based upon the next event occurrence with time is muxing it against the time now. Okay, so that actually does all the things that we would like. We have been guilty of. Now, what was it? We were doing this in show event.
I mean, there's a question of whether you should cover everything with acceptance tests.
Yeah. Well, I mean, particularly at the moment, our acceptance test is kind of rather low level.
Yeah, we could just plug numbers on them.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, it would be good, I think, because we've got the model, and then we want to make sure that the model is connected up properly.
Right.
So this is all based upon the so that in this context here, we're jumping backwards and forwards to dates while the start date time of this is fixed. So we can now ask here, like this is doing it 2014 2-3. These are both, they're checking that. So do we have none of these events end?
There's one that repeats weekly.
We've got one that repeats. So maybe we should we switch it to the stand-up there? Because the stand-up is at the same time. The duration is 150. So we could be asking here after the event has finished. So that's like 2.5 hours later. God, what a scrum. What a stand-up. So at 9:30.
9:40. So.
Right. So at 9:40, we should not see it.
And yeah, go on.
Yeah. So that's BEC show event feature. Events, show event feature, line 16. And this is, I guess we could have a similar set for, I guess it's not clear, like what's the day. I guess if these are working, that implies that it is that, you know, the first one does actually hit on, I don't know what this, is that like repeating every day of the week, that mask, 15? I guess 15 is like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, isn't it? So it's kind of like, yeah, I would guess it's like a 8-bit, like a 3-bit mask. So I would just check, you know, is this for the subsequent day? Do we see the same pattern? And that that passes as well. Okay. All right. Well, I might as well just get it up there. This is like just event time. What's it? What was the name of the method we used? Event to work off latest in sequence and builds out acceptance test. Push origin 1138. Boom, 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 boom. So we don't have a pull request for this one yet, I guess.
I guess not.
Okay. And so okay. Single line. Don't like, no, I've got a different bloody mode. I really don't like Phi. Modes.
What?
Well, Vi has these modes. Like you have to go with edit mode and then navigate mode, and that's like use it from a usability point of view. It's a disaster. Anyway, right. So it's Well, I think that's a good. We've got a good, chunk of stuff done today.
Yep.
And we created a new. That was 1138. I mean, there's an ambiguity there that, like, if that
semaphore is failing on our other pull request.
Yeah.
Set default project and event creation.
Yeah. There's which ones? That build one failed. Prevent event start too soon. No, that's the wrong one.
Poltergeist thing again.
At the moment, I don't have to. There's too many things here. New event default project. Okay. Yeah, I'm rebuilding it.
Events.
I think that
gone.
I think Raoul has an idea about how to make that more stable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that the corner case there is that, like, if the live element only if it only stays live for like 5 minutes and then it disappears, then if the event then, like, after that thing disappears, the start hangout button will reappear, I assume.
Middle of the event, but when the event's still running.
Right. Which is, I think we've definitely improved where we were before. I mean, we will see. We'll get it deployed. The strange thing is the logic that it has for, I guess it's for this live thing, which is on event instance, that it has this scope of live where updated at is like there's 5 minutes ago, and then there's this other live here.
Right.
Which I think that's something to be investigated, but we've certainly bashed through a whole load of things that might sort of clip off flag. Oh, okay. So I guess, maybe wrap up there and see you again tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Okay, good stuff. Bye for now.